All right, so I wanted to bring you guys a video on the beginner's guide to New Balance running sneakers. Now, I already did a video on the beginner's guide to New Balance lifestyle sneakers per request on Twitter. And so I figured I'd go ahead and do a deep dive on the running side as well, because there's so much information out there. If you've never tried a New Balance running sneaker, you don't know what to expect. There's so many different models. It's very confusing. This video is not sponsored by New Balance, but if you guys do use the links in the description, it does support the channel. It lets New Balance know that you guys support the channel as well. And I greatly appreciate anybody that does that. So there's two primary foams that you're going to see in a lot of these running sneakers. There's Fresh Foam X and there is FuelCell. So the FuelCell is made to go fast for races. The Fresh Foam X is more of like cushioning sort of recovery foam. But I will tell you from the beginning, not all Fresh Foam X is equal. Not all FuelCell is equal. Similar to all of the other brands out there, it is a little bit confusing because they have different foam densities of a singular named entity. So you have Fresh Foam X on the 1080V14, which is super soft and squishy, but then you have Fresh Foam X on the 860 or 880, and it's not as soft as on the 1080. So it's still Fresh Foam X, it's just a different foam compound, a different foam density, which is part of the reason I like to do a lot of the video reviews comparing a lot of these products, because you don't know which one you're going to get necessarily right out of the box, since there's no real like indicator. And again, it's not just New Balance, it's across the board. Nike does the same thing with Zoom X and so on. Now, I did want to mention that all of the sneakers that I'm going to be talking about in this video, I'm going to say are true to size, with the exception of the Fresh Foam sneakers. I usually go with a standard, and with the FuelCell sneakers, I usually go with a wide version because I have a little bit of a wider foot. FuelCell sneakers run a little bit more narrow. Fresh Foam sneakers usually run pretty standard width in my opinion. So throwing that out there, I went true to size with all of these options. If you guys have a difference in opinion, of course, leave a comment in the comment section. So immediately when you go to their running page, it says everyday running at the top, road racing, and then trail, and then track and field, which I'm not going to touch track and field. But trail is fun. There's a couple options there. We're going to start off with everyday running though, because I feel like this is the one that is going to be like the most beneficial for anybody that's looking for just a really comfortable pair of sneakers that they can wear every single day. One that has a nice amount of cushioning and so on. And so hopefully I can break down some of the differences between some of these models. So the first one that pops up, which is primarily the best one in my opinion, and that's the Fresh Foam X 1080 V14. So this one retails at $165, and they have a ton of different colorways. They also have a bunch of different widths, which is what I love about New Balance. So they have regular, wide, and extra wide. So they have lots of different options. In my opinion, this is like the best all-around pair of sneakers that New Balance offers if you're trying to have something that is just really soft and comfortable for your foot. It's not the lightest option. You have the FuelCell Rebel V4s for something that's a little bit lighter that I'll get into in a second. But all around best bang for your buck, comfort, breathability, just everything. If you're looking for a good, soft, comfortable pair of sneakers, I think the 1080 V14s are amazing. Now, the competition to that is the FuelCell Rebel V4s in my opinion, because those are also very soft underfoot. They're lighter, they're more breathable. So as I'm post-editing this video, I could see that the Rebel V5s have been announced. It actually releases on June 5th, so looking forward to that. I will have a comparison to the 4s versus the 5s, but for reference, this video I'm going to be talking about the 4s because they've been amazing. They are also on sale right now for $30 off for those interested. Link in the description. In my opinion, the FuelCell Rebel V4s is more of the summer-ready, spring-ready pair. It's definitely a pair I take on vacation, as well as the 1080 V14s, but they are lighter and more breathable, and they offer wide versions as well. They do run a little bit more narrow because they are kind of more like running, racing sort of sneakers. From the sounds of things, the 1080 V14s is like your daily pace sort of runner. The Rebel V4s is like the ones that you can train in and go slower, or you can go fast if you need. The reason why I'm telling that from a non-runner's perspective is, like, my experience is the 1080 V14s, excellent on feet as a daily runner. The Rebel V4s, if you want, again, something lighter, more breathable, is also very, very good. But the midsole cushioning is also very good in the Rebel V4s. So the FuelCell and the Fresh Foam X are excellent, very soft in both cases of footwear. Then you move over to the newer pair of the Fresh Foam X 880 V15s, and this is soft, but it's not as soft as the 1080 V14s. If you're looking for something that is a little bit more structured, something that you have like a nice, crazy amount of comfort in, but not too soft and squishy, the 880 V15s is the better option for those people that need a little bit more firmer feel underfoot. Those retail at $140, so not too terrible. I did also want to add they have narrow up to extra wide versions in this model also. Now you also do have like the 860 V14, so they're on the last year's version so far. They're working on a new one, I'm sure, but the 860 is basically like the 880, but it's more made for stability. So the 860 is the stability version of the 880, and the 880 is basically just a firmer version of the 1080. The 1080 is a little bit more premium. Now next up, with more Fresh Foam, you have the More V5. It's $155, so it's $10 cheaper than the 1080 V14s. But is it more comfortable? Is it better? Is it more? It is more, and it is more comfortable than the 1080 V14s even. The midsole is absolutely ridiculously crazy. If you're wanting the most max cushion pair of sneakers that you can get from New Balance with just an insane amount of midsole comfort, then the Fresh Foam More V5 is going to be the option for you. These things are nuts, super chunky, but very, very comfortable. And it only has a 4 mm heel toe drop, which means the midsole and the heel and the midsole and the forefoot is a very small drop. Normally it's like 8 or 10 depending on the shoe. They also are not overly heavy considering how big they are. They're 11 ounces for like a 9, which is not too crazy. Again, the most bang for the buck for sure. If you're looking for the most, then this is definitely the most, or the more, I guess. But for me personally, I actually prefer the 1080s over the Moors. Sometimes just too much is too much, and I just like the overall sensation of the 1080s better for daily consumption. However, there's those days where you just want to put on like the Moors and just have a little extra, then it's definitely an option worth exploring. So moving down, you have some cheaper options that just feature Fresh Foam. So the Fresh Foam 680 V8, that's a regular standard version. That is not like a lot of bells and whistles. Retails around $80 on those. It's again a comfortable pair of sneakers. Fresh foam on the midsole, making it firmer than the Fresh Foam X. Much firmer than the 1080s, but also firmer than the 880 series as well. So you have the 860 that has the stability Fresh Foam X, then you have the 680 that has Fresh Foam. So again, super confusing, but it is what it is. But lastly, the Fresh Foam X Ballast V1. This thing is incredible. I've talked about these a lot. They are worth every penny of the $199.99. Like, these things are very, very soft underfoot. They are softer underfoot than even the 1080 V14s, in my opinion. The difference is there is a little bit more of a rocker profile in the ballast, but it's not so extreme where it feels like I can't like walk around in them casually. It's a pair that I've worn to Vegas and on vacation, and I just love the overall feel of the ballast. If you're looking for like a more luxurious feel than the 1080 V14s, then I definitely suggest the ballast at $200. It's just one of those shoes that I've been very, very impressed by. You have a ground contact Fresh Foam X on there too, so it's like so soft when you touch the ground. Heel toe transition is buttery smooth. They're very, very good on feet. Now, this is where things get interesting. As you kind of work your way down these everyday shoes, you see something like the FuelCell Super Comp Elite 4, which $250. You look at it, it looks very similar to the Rebel V4, and it's more expensive than the 1080 V14. So is it like the one that you should get? In my opinion, for casual usage, I would say no. It's still good. Like, my wife wore her pair to Disney World. Like, she actually wore that pair daily walking around Disney World and stuff, even though it's an elite like marathon running shoe. She had the 1080s and the Rebel V4s, and she chose the elites because she liked the colors, I think. But any which way, they worked great for everyday trainers as well. But for $250, I don't think it's that much more worth it to get for everyday casual consumption, unless you love the look of it that much more. But in my opinion, the Rebel V4s, if you like the same look amazing as well, and are $110 cheaper, and you get every bit of goodness of a comfortable midsole. The other thing is there's no like a carbon fiber like rocker or anything like that in the Rebel, which makes it a better option for casual. The propulsion that you get from the Super Comp Elites is amazing, but not for casual in my opinion. It still is, it's an insane shoe, but again, not worth the extra for just the casual. Now, also noteworthy, you do have a pair of FuelCell Super Comp Trainer V3s. Now, this is an interesting one for me because I absolutely love the Super Comp Trainer V1 and the V2, but the V3 didn't do as much for me. This time, for some reason, the midsole is really big, but the overall comfort of that shoe at the $180 price point, even though you have more midsole on it and stuff, it wasn't like so crazy like different than the Rebels. And I don't know why. Maybe my feet have just become accustomed to the Rebel V4s, but I actually gravitate more towards the Rebel V4s than the Super Comp Trainer V3s. If you like the Rebel V4s and you want something a little bit more in the midsole, the trainers, it's still a better price point than the Elites, but it's definitely a pair that I was like, it's not as good as I would have anticipated. It's still really, really comfortable on feet, but maybe it was something like the stability was just a little bit off for me. I can't remember. For the FuelCell line, we talked about the Rebels, we talked about the Elites and the trainers. For the lower end side of the FuelCells, you have the FuelCell Propel V5, and they retail at $120. I'll tell you, this version of the V5 is better than the V3 and the V4. It is very soft on feet and kind of a sleeper in my opinion in this like FuelCell lineup. I don't think it looks as good as the Rebel V4s. The Propel V5s won't disappoint. You'll definitely like them on feet. They're comfortable and they do have a pretty nice soft FuelCell midsole. There's two other models that are worth noting. There is the FuelCell Super Comp Pacer 2. The Pacer is a lower stack. I never tried this one out, but I tried the Pacer 1 and it was good. The Pacer 2 looks like it's much improved over the first one. Again, Pacer is a lower stack of foam, and this new version looks like it's very, very breathable. It looks very sleek. I like the overall look at it. I just never got a pair of them. at $200. They look pretty pricey, and honestly, I really like the Rebels. But for those people that have tried the Pacer V2s, is it worth it or not? Leave a comment, let me know. And the last one that I wanted to mention on the other front, so that's kind of the everyday and road racing combined, but then you have the trail running as well. So the one that is worth mentioning in my mind is the Fresh Foam X Hero V9. They retail at $155. They do have Gore-Tex versions, like they have the Hero V8 available right now in Gore-Tex for $170. Eventually, we're going to see a Hero V9 as well. I have a review of the Hero V9s on my channel already, but this version over the 8 definitely has a more trail-centric mindset because the lugs on the midsole is definitely bigger. You also do have like a dual density action going here with the midsole, so you have a firmer foam on the bottom, a softer foam on top. So you definitely get the Fresh Foam X feel, but not too much of it. So you're like stepping in, like feeling too soft and squishy when you're on trails and stuff like that. Personally, I live in Oregon, so having a pair like these are excellent for like camping and stuff like that. However, I also really like the Gore-Tex versions because obviously it rains a lot here and the morning dew gets you. And when I'm walking around the softball fields or, the baseball fields with the kids, Gore-Tex is definitely needed. So definitely waiting for the Hero V9 Gore-Tex. The surprising thing to me as well is the weight is 10.3 ounces, which is nuts. I love that. The weight is like very low considering how much tread and traction you have on the bottom with the Vibram outsole. But very good if you're looking for like a pair with like a lot of tread, and the best option for trail in my opinion from New Balance. Anyway, that's my breakdown. Leave a comment in the comment section. Was this video somewhat helpful or not? If not, leave suggestions on what would make it more helpful. I'm definitely here for all of the feedback, and I appreciate y'all for stopping in and watching. If you guys do want to buy any of the ones that I mentioned again in the video, link in the description. It will take you directly to New Balance, and if you guys make any of the purchases again, it supports the family. Appreciate y'all. But have a good rest of the day. Hopefully see you back on the channel for some more sneaker content soon. All right, peace guys.